Welcome to the Sports Card Lessons Podcast. I'm your host, Big Ken. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on a streaming service, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You'll be notified whenever I drop any new content. Welcome, and thanks for being here. I'm super excited to have friend of the show, Brad, on IG at outlaws_sports_cards, all plural, back on the show. Brad, welcome and happy Back to the Future Day.
Yes, sir. I don't have the boots. I put them on, but I'm not allowed to wear those, I think, around the house. So
all I wanted was the Grays Sports Almanac, right?
Oh yeah, maybe for the next 20 years starting today, right?
Yeah. Instead of, what was it, like 55 to 2000, right? We want it from 2023 to 2050 or something.
But what would you, if you had the book though, Ken? Like if I had the book right now, I know what I would use it for. What would you use it for?
Well, I'm telling you, I wouldn't go make the bets myself. I would sell. I would be selling
the information.
I'm the smartest guy ever, right? And pay me for my information, right?
There you go.
But
That's not a bad way.
But at some point, when everybody's winning, right? Yeah. What was that? It was that. What was the movie where he wants to grant everybody's wish? Jim Carrey, right? He was like God, right? And so all of a sudden, everybody wins the lottery on one day.
Who was the guy? Who was it? Was it Morgan Freeman? Was it Morgan Freeman?
Morgan? Yeah. Anyways, so how you doing?
I can't complain. I mean, just finishing up, moving down here full time down the shore.
Yeah.
Jersey Shore for down the shore, non-Jersey people down the shore. Girls are off at college. Everything's kind of like crazy.
It'll be your first winter there, right? You're going to experience
my first real winter here. Yes. I don't know if I'm going to look forward to it or not. I've been told winters down here are not so bad, and this thing of like the local summer seems to be popular, where there's nobody running around on the beach and it's kind of quiet. But we've been too busy to really kind of figure it out right now, so we're kind of going there. How about you? You all right?
Doing well. Good. Doing well. Yeah, we're just coming up on our first year in our new house here. That we moved. December will be a year. I can't believe how fast it's gone. But yeah, and I mean, I know you're less time, and I'm still really kind of settling in here.
We never think we ever will settle in. It's almost like you think once you settle in, it's time to pack up and go again. So
yeah. So let's get started. We were talking and we were talking about the hobby world and everything going on, and all of a sudden you said, man, we really need to talk about this, like this hobby mental health. And I just stopped you. I said, stop. I want to hit record on this because I know it's going to be a great conversation. So jump into it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like in the world of the cards we're in, it's just so much. It's obviously way more intense, way more. Even if you're having fun with it, just way more pressure than you could imagine a hobby could be. And I think we all, we forget about that. I mean, there's a lot of. I don't get involved with it. It seems like a lot of drama and things that go on in cards. It's cardboard and should be having fun. So I always make sure I take time for myself with the cards. I mean, not everything is about the pennies and the dollars and the PayPal and whatever. I still find time to find my favorite dealers that run dollar boxes and quarter boxes. And I still take, an hour of my life when I can. I know we have lives and kids, but I still take time to go dig through boxes once in a while and try to remember why I did this. And, sometimes finding that card in that box and, it's worth more than $1 is just fun. It brings you back and it's a smile and you forget why we're really doing this. Yeah, it's fun and everybody wants to make money, but the people that and I know that are really in it just for the money, that doesn't last too long. As we know, the money's not great right now with this stuff, unless you either have it or you have the ability to withstand it. So you got to take time. And for me, I've taken a lot of that. I go to flea markets now, and it's people say, well, you're crazy. You're digging around. I'm not really going to flea markets to like make money sometimes. I'm really going because it's just, you get out, you talk to people. We forget what it's like to talk to people. You still got to communicate, and it's important. And I like one of my favorite dealers, his name is Pete. I don't know if he listens to this or not, but when I pay him, his prices are so fantastic. And I always give him extra. And he always says, why? And I call him Dr. Pete. And I tell him, I said, you legitimately are like my therapist. I stand here for an hour and we talk about cards and I look through your boxes and I pay you and it's $40 and I give him 50. And he tells me I'm crazy. He doesn't need the money. But I mean, he
Yeah.
serves a huge purpose. And I think we all forget that. And that's important. I mean, to talk about it, even the cards, just talk, got to talk. People forget our health. You got to stop. It's still a full-time gig, a lot of pressure with money, 24/7 with the electronics going off and Discord, whatnot, eBay.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to self-care, right? If you do anything in the in mental health, industry, a lot of it, they're always talking about self-care. Taking care of yourself first. They always describe being on the plane, right? That's why they tell you put the oxygen mask on first, and then you put it on for the people around you, right? Take care of yourself first. And I know what you're saying because I'm blessed, right? I'm in this hobby, but I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to make a mortgage payment. I'm not here to make a car payment. I'm not here to put anyone through college. And I mean, I'm just here because I like being here and I have fun doing this, right? So whether I buy something or I don't buy something, whether I sell something, whether I don't sell it, it's okay to me. I'm not all up in arms. I'm not stressed out. I'm not going, you'll never hear me be stressed over this, because if I came here to be stressed, then I would go somewhere else, right? I came here because I wanted to have fun and enjoy doing what I'm doing. And like you said, meeting the people, to me, that's half of it. All the people, all the friends I've made, the people I talk to. I talk to more people now, and I've said this all along, I talk to more people now in the hobby than I do in my regular life. Just,
For sure.
friends, family, just because this is what, I'm kind of concentrating on. But it's not like, it's not stressful.
No.
There's no pressure involved in that.
And it's funny to me too, because even the communications and the friendships and the whatever you want to call them, you could break the social barriers that we grew up with that are even more like that. I wouldn't call any normal human being professionally or any whatsoever reason before 9 o'clock in the morning on a weekday. There's no reason to, unless there's a professional reason to talk to them. But have you ever not responded to a phone call or a text message or Instagram message from one of your fellow card hobby friends at 6:30 or 7 in the morning? You get up in the morning, you check your phone, as everybody does, and you see your Instagram messages or a text, and who's it from? And it's from your card community, and it's from someone you deal with in the card world about something. And
unless it's you,
right.
5:38 a.m. this morning.
Right.
I'm up at 9. I'm like, who is messaging me at 5:30?
I would never send that message to somebody at 5:30 in the morning, but it's like the card people, you feel like, you know what? Everyone's in the, you don't know. Everyone's in the same 2 o'clock in the morning looking at cards, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't know. And in our world, we all communicate. It's almost like you get comfortable and in a positive way. And it's not, I love it. I enjoy the fact that, I can reach out to people and send them at 2 o'clock in the morning, show them some card I just found, and then 4 hours later respond in a full-blown conversation as if no one ever went to sleep. And you get that in the real world? You can't do that. In our real world, you can't do that. I can't text my customers 7 in the morning and say, hey, call me back. But I can text you and you'll read it and you'll respond to me.
Yeah.
And you know, oh, why is he texting me at 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this card he just sent me.
Yeah. And the crazy thing too with all this electronics, we know when people read things too. So it's not like, and we know, if something pops up and we read it, you probably got, there's certain people that you have to respond to right away, and there's other people that that they know, even though they know you've read it, that you're going to respond to it, that you're probably doing something else or you're a little busy or things like that. Yeah. So you really know who you need to get back to and who you don't.
I just love it though. I mean, some of the people I've met, some real turds. I would say the last time I've been on here, the number of people I've met that I'd call turdy has grown from maybe 0 to 2. But I also would admit that I've been out there way more publicly, physically than I had in the past at shows and stuff. So for me, you're going to come across, I guess, percentage wise, whatever. But mentally, though, I come home from the shows looking to do another one. I go home at night from work and looking forward to what conversation am I going to have about cards? I know it's some of it's kind of crazy, but part of it too, I really enjoy it. I mean, like I was telling you before, I have cards next to me for dollar cards, and I have cards next to me. They're thousands of dollars, and I just like all of them, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the money can't be part of it. It has to be like, this part to me is the biggest part, that we can talk and have a good time, and I could see you, and we have a relationship, and not just you and me. There's dozens of us that talk to each other all the time. You have way more than anybody, I'm sure. So
Yeah, just and new people every day. I have new people reaching out to me because they listen to me, and it's really great because some of the conversations I have nothing to do with cards. Like I'll sit on here and I talk to the screen for 30, 40 minutes, right? And I drop the podcast and somebody will respond back to about maybe a player or about an organization or about their job or their cousin or their, like they'll respond back. I talked about my mom passing away, right? I was just unbelievable outpour of people. And you can tell, like I could tell by the people who this really hit home with, right? That they've been through this before and they know how hard it was, right? Versus the other people who are just just trying to say, hey, I mean, I know you're going through something and we're here for you, prayers to you and things like that. But yeah, just a unbelievable outpouring of people, and it was unbelievable. I was
and I would say more people probably reach out to you in the card world once they knew than probably in the real world, and it's amazing. And I think the people, it's I went to dinner with two of my friends the other night, and neither one of them would admit to owning a card if they did own one, and they don't. And they love to tell me I'm a nerd, and I love to laugh at it. And I tell them, you know what? Great. I found thousands of other people that think and talk and about cards and feel the same way about it. You know what? I hope there's thousands more of us, because it's harder to find, again, back to mental health. It's harder as we get older to find people to connect with, the people to communicate with. Life takes us in different paths. I mean, my daughters are in college, my son's in college, and I moved down the shore, and physical interaction other than my daily life at work. This is it for me this weekend, beyond my family. And so, if I didn't have, me and my nerds, I tell them all the time, I talk to my nerds more than I talk to them. I'm one of them. I'm sitting at the table with these guys. I see you guys once a month for dinner, but I'm talking to my nerds every night, every day. Some of them on the phone back and forth to work. And I don't even know their guys, like their wives or their sisters or their kids. These other guys, I know their whole family.
Yeah. And you need your people, right? I mean, it's kind of the essence of life. And there's a lot to be said about, people who live. I just watched this whole thing on Netflix. It was a blue world, blue something or other. It just talked about, just having people in your life. It helps you live longer.
Card community, I've noticed is in some ways is very quick to forgive in things are bad, but it is very accepting of, I mean, you think about like what it's like for people to go through life on sports teams or fraternities or sororities and, any type of club or group you're trying to fit into, you're trying to fit into something. The only qualification you need to fit into this group is to have an interest in cards. You don't even have to know about them. You just have to raise your hand and say, hey, I like them. And thousands of people, for whatever reason they have, are going to welcome you to the hobby.
Yeah.
You don't get that in, almost anywhere else. I mean, if you told everyone, hey, I want to try out for your hockey team, you're going to get 50 people. They're going to try to kick you out of the door. They don't want
you to play before. Who'd you play for?
Here, you got called. Great. Let me teach you. Some people, maybe, you got to be careful who you meet the first time, but, you know what'll happen. I'm here for cards. There's a lot of Kens out there that'll say, hey, you know what? I'll show you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the best part of this hobby. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're a 5 or 6 year old kid or you're a 70 or 80-year-old person, you want to get into the hobby, people are going to welcome you in, and you're going to find your people. You're not going to be the only one. You're going to be able to relate to people. No,
it's not hard, because if you can't communicate with people in the card world, then you should find something else to do, because you're just not going to be able to succeed at all. And this is a really easy place for anyone to try to just like, hey, I don't have a lot of friends in my life. I would love to walk into a card show for $3 and tell somebody you're interested in learning about cards. You'll make a couple friends that'll reach out to you once in a while, very
Yep.
quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking of the hobby,
Yeah.
right? State of the card market.
Yeesh.
I was just I was listening to
You
this
take a
week's
drink before
episode.
we talk about this one.
What's that?
I should take a sip of my drink before we
Yeah,
talk
there
about
you
this.
go. I was listening to this week's episode. Sports Card Therapist had Josh and Chris from Card Ladder on.
Yep, I listened. Yep.
And they were talking about the Card Ladder 50 index, and I'm going to quote them saying we are at a 3-year low on card prices. Right, 3-year low on card prices. And I'm going to start off with saying this. I haven't been presented with any great deals, recently. I've been trying to stay active, on social media, but I haven't really. The only show I got to, I bought for my PC and online, over the last 6 weeks. I've only bought for my PC. And I was just telling you this before we went on. It's just because the stuff that I'd been looking at, then I'm like, well, like a card like this right here. It's a Trinity Rodman, the 10 Gold Club card, right? So this card had been around $250 for the longest time. I ended up picking it up for $60, right? Online, and I'm like, I'm getting excited about it. And even more importantly, I've had cards on my radar for probably over a year that have not shown up publicly anywhere. And in the last like 7 to 10 days, we favorite these things on eBay. In the last 7 to 10 days, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of multiples of these cards all of a sudden just showed up. And here I am thinking to myself, wow, what a perfect time to be cash heavy when all these cards that I really want, that the prices have been so high that now for 3 years, over the last 3 years, it's going to be at their lowest point and give me the opportunity to buy them.
We're there. We're there. And I don't think this is the end of it either. I think, anybody that does any type of sort of investments or thinks about that stuff, you still buy low and sell high.
Yeah.
But you also have to think about a little bit that, put the card market outside of its little vacuum and think of what's going on in the real world with interest rates and things. Mm-hmm. You have to think there's probably more downside in front of us, right? You have to think that. But it doesn't mean you don't buy. You have to look and say, we don't know. No one has a crystal ball. I dropped my crystal ball before the podcast started. Otherwise, I would tell you what I think is going to happen next. But truthfully, if you're running a successful business or an investment, whatever you're doing, you're not pushing all your chips and all your eggs at one time. So people here should be looking at this. Yes, it's an opportunity. These cards are coming up that are tremendous, but make sure you're saving room to eat the next week or the next month, because you will see more opportunities. I think if you see a good deal on some rare stuff, it's hard to pass it up. But it is still, a buyer's market. It's going to be for a while. I think you're going to see a lot more stuff come on the market. I've been buying all along. I think if you stick with quality and you know what you're buying and you understand what to look for, and you have your, not haphazardly spending money, there's plenty of there's tons of opportunity.
But isn't that
too? Greed's gone. Everyone can't buy something for $100 again and think they're going to walk down the show aisle and sell it for $200. You got to be careful. We're a little bit in the new car market here too, where you buy something and you walk down the showroom floor with it and it's worth 20% less the minute you walked away with it.
Yeah.
So,
But I think for me, right, so what I've been buying for my PC and the money that I put aside, my card money that I put aside, and now all of a sudden I see these cards coming up, I really think that, I'm going to be buying more right now for my PC than I am going to be for trying to resell at a show next month or 2 months from now. Now, there may be good opportunities of stuff to buy to set up at the show, but if I'm seeing stuff that, and what do I care, right? And I say this all the time. So if a card was $1,000, and I'm just going to throw numbers out there, and the card comes down to $500 or $600, and I buy it at $500 or $600, and it goes down to $400. If it's a PC card, what do I care?
You don't.
what do I care? Because I'm buying that card because I love this card and I wanted to have this card. I'm not going to be crying like, oh God, I bought this at
But
the wrong
there's the
time.
number of Kens that are saying that though right now in the world. Sadly, they're few and far between. We're not finding those folks right now. You know that you
Yeah.
could put the best PC cards. I mean, I did the Cardboard Carnival a few weeks ago, and it was a fantastic show. But I had like really nice PC cards, like 87 Topps Barry Bonds rookies and PSA 10, like nice card at good prices. No one's even looking at them. And these are PC cards. What was everybody looking at?
Hmm.
Patches of anything Travis Kelce and Tyreek, same thing. So I still think that those PC cards are going to come down in value a little bit because, like, you're buying it. I'm looking to buy stuff like that. But right now, my focus is on what can I buy cheaper to make more money to buy that stuff because it's not going anywhere. I don't think it's going anywhere. Any card you see you want right now, unless it's like super rare, probably can get it tomorrow. That's how I think that's why the market's having a little trouble right now. But this is natural though to me, Ken. I mean, this is the way it was, like it should be. Cards that are overvalued and overprinted and overpopulated and overgraded are now trading the way they should at fair values at these low. This is where they should have always been, and it's okay. Rare cards, higher quality cards, cards of Hall of Famers and GOATs and lower print like vintage and rare stuff is holding better, even though it's down. Why? So I think, everyone always used to question, where to go in the hobby. You don't have to question anymore. We're all learning very quickly.
Yeah.
If you're buying anything and holding this modern stuff, you got a problem. You got a problem. You got a big problem. And I'm guilty. I have some of it too, but how's it going to change? It's just never, it's not going to get better. People are learning. It's a good lesson.
All the prospecting, and I say prospecting, the cards of the prospects I bought, starting in December of last year and right up through, like I unloaded everything. I mean, if it didn't go at the national, it went at East Coast National, where we set up, but I got rid of it all. Right. So as far as losing on anything, like I still have a couple Mac Jones and Zach Wilson cards that this year I never even took out of the office. I just left here. I said, you know what?
I have 4 of them sitting somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave those alone. But really the only thing since East Coast National and I started there, I was buying hockey cards. I bought cards there, and all along I've been buying hockey cards to sell in November.
And that should give you a good indication right now. Think about this, Ken. Jack Hughes going into that White Plains show, after the show, hockey season starts. This dude is like the most, other than Connor Bedard, he is the most talked about hockey player. He's the number one sales in jerseys and this and that and the other. He's off to 10 goals in 4 games. I mean, he's on fire. See what his Young Gun PSA 10's trading at? At $300.
Yeah.
I mean, Ken, this card, when White Plains was trading at $270, so it's up maybe 12% since White Plains, with all the hype going into hockey and how great he's playing, on fire. Make fun of the Devils, marketplace or not. He is number 2 in the hockey world behind Connor Bedard right now, and his prices are incrementally higher. But this is.
But everybody's just trying to flip the card.
Right.
There's nobody buying the card to hold it to say Jack Hughes is my guy and I want the Young Guns card. Everyone's saying,
and that's what's gone, and that's what we need. That it'll come back.
Yeah. They're saying the Jack Hughes card's $300, right? You're just saying it's $300. They want to buy it from me or from you for $250,
right?
And they want to turn around and sell it to somebody for $275, right? Nobody, even though it's a $300 card, when you go to these shows, nobody's going to be buying or selling that card for $300.
That's right, and the disparities out there too makes it tougher. Like, go look at a PSA 9, sells for like $90.
Yeah,
but a Raw sells for $120. So, I mean, it's, the things are shifting probably ways that are still off, but obviously you could see that the market is reacting with, I think obviously we still have some ways to fall.
Yeah.
We have some ways to fall.
And I on this new stuff, I blame it on just overprinting these cards. I mean, every single new product that comes out, right? All of a sudden, the people are rushed to get it to eBay, and these cards are selling at, enormous amounts of money. And then you give it a month, 6 weeks, and then you just see the price come down, 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 because now it's saturated. Now there's so many, even short prints aren't really short print anymore, right?
I saw that the other day, the Connor Bedard short print or something. They're going for thousands of dollars as the short print. Next thing you know, there's like 100 of them on eBay. Like, how is it a super short print if there's already 100 of them? I mean, that's
And there's still every day I see them pulling on Facebook and Instagram, people opening the packs and pulling another one out. It's insane. Even like I said, even the short prints aren't short print anymore. So it's, the only thing that I even look at, so I do like women's soccer, so when I'm looking at those cards now, I'm looking at cards that are actually numbered,
right.
numbered to 10, numbered to 25, number, that
or
to me,
look at the pops. People have to take the time. We talked about this last time. You got to take the time and educate yourself before you're going to spend the money. There is so much opportunity still in the card market. If you just take the time to educate yourself and just not walk, you can't walk into a card show. You can't go on Discord or eBay or whatnot with a credit card and just throw it at the wall anymore. Those days have been long gone. You gotta, what we say, you can't hope it sticks.
Yep.
Can't do it anymore. You actually have to go into the show with the money in your pocket and say, this is what I'm looking to accomplish today. And if you can't do it, go home.
Yeah. But you need a plan.
And nobody does that. I mean, I remember when I used to go to shows, I used to watch YouTube videos. I forgot the guy's name. He used to tell you, make a list. And I used to write a list down of players and cards and things. And I would walk around that show looking, even as an adult, on my phone, make a list. I still do it to this day. I still have like in my head things I'm looking for at targets so I don't lose focus.
Yeah.
And there's so much opportunity.
I went to the last show I went to, it was the Stanford show. And I went there because I knew from, being in the hobby, when people, and even you message me, well, if you see a card you think I might like, you'll message me.
Yeah.
So I had somebody message me a Trinity Rodman. It was her first relic card, number 100, graded PSA 10. So at it was the same promoter, but it was the Portland, Maine show. And he messaged me a picture up there and he said, this is what the guy's asking for the card. And I said, give him my information, tell him to contact me. I'm interested in the card. So I never heard from the guy. So then that same show, same guys were going to be down here in Stanford. So I messaged him. I said, hey, is your guy? And I never heard from him. Is he going to be there? And he said, yeah, I'll be there. So I went down to that show with a plan. I went there with a lot of cash. But my plan going in there was to find that one card. And I went and I made a deal and I bought that card. It's the only card I went home with that day,
right.
Because nothing else made sense,
right.
To buy, because I'm looking around and I'm calculating out and I'm saying, even if I buy this card to put it in my case at my next show, the chances of me breaking even or losing money are a lot higher than turning a profit on the card. So there's no sense me, taking chances, foolishly. So I didn't, but you're absolutely right. And I've always talked about, make a plan. You need to have a plan. You need to go into it with a mindset of knowing what you're doing, because if you go in there without a plan, you get beat up quick.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing I've been noticing too with the card market is, obviously, I mean, listen, everyone's a flipper, no one's a flipper. We're all flippers now. I was never a flipper. Now everyone's flipping everything. It doesn't matter, whatever you call yourself. We all have a little bit of everything: collector, investor, hobbyist, enthusiast, negativity, whatever that word would want to call us, flipper. To me, the one thing I've learned is, because there are so many people that are like flipping, the opportunity to buy raw and grade is out there more than I've ever seen it. You used to beg people to bring you quality stuff to grade because you couldn't find anything to grade. Now all this stuff is coming back out again to grade. Why? Because and I know the card market's sinking. If you can't sit, you take this card that you just bought, this Justin Jefferson card, and you're going to send it into grading, the time it gets back, it's worth less than grading. And I get that. But if you're picking the right card, and obviously, we're not buying me personally, not buying Justin Jefferson's to grade. But if you're buying quality stuff like a Barry Bonds autograph to grade, right? Well, then think about that. Doesn't matter. You're offsetting even some of the opportunity loss with the market, because the grading has the up, and these cards you wouldn't be able to buy for even over comps raw years ago because everyone's going to grade it. Get a PSA 8, I'm still going to 3X you.
Yeah.
Now you can buy it under comps because nobody wants to wait for the money. So I think, I mean, if you're listening out there and you are cash heavy, the opportunity out there to pick up quality cards to grade right now, if you can have the patience to do it, is there. It's there. Raw. I mean, the raw cards I'm seeing again is just, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I just had Zips Cards, Jordan Zips Cards. I just had him on a couple of weeks ago, saying the same thing. I've had him on a couple of times, and he grades. That's what he does. He goes to this show and he just every show he's buying raw cards. You know, he preps the cards himself, sends them out, and
I mean, raw. I mean, and obviously, like, you know, slabs are like hot potatoes right now. You buy a slab, and it, like we said it before, it's like a car dealership. You know, you can't walk down the aisle and it be worth 2x. Now you hope it's not worth 0.85. So it's hard. And you know, and you buy raw and you could sit. I think again, it's back to like normal strategy of investments or balance. Some for now, some for later, some for the long term, some low risk. I mean, you know, my risk portion of my portfolio of cards now, you would call it like modern, is probably less. Let's call it post Mahomes. Instead of Post Malone, we'll go Post Mahomes. It's probably less than 10% of what I currently own. 90% is Mahomes, year and back, and Mahomes would be the biggest stuff I own.
Yeah,
I sold all my.
This is your PC now.
No, I'm talking like even to buy. I don't buy. Even on last podcast, I tell anybody this. You could look through all my cards. You'd find less than 10% of me saying I don't like that card, even if you would say that's junk. Unless I bought a bulk box of cards and it all came with it, I like every card I buy. I like them all. It doesn't, and I'm not one of those saying, "Hey, I'm buying this for my PC," and it's for then an hour later it's for sale. Everything I used to tell you, everything I would buy was for me. Now everything I buy because I like it, but it's all for sale.
Yeah,
most of it. Actually, I will not sell like that Gretzky duel from last time. Not getting sold. There's some other cards that won't get sold, but you know, now I look at it like, how do I own that card for free? I have to buy grade raw, and I want to own things for free. I don't want to come out of my pocket like you. I want to buy the coolest stuff and not have to go out of card money to do it.
Yep. Yeah. That's the only way to do it, right? And I know I learned from you, you know, setting up next to you that especially with hockey, those game used, you know, patches, like people just absolutely love those. They were swarming over your cases for those. So I've built up, you know, a little collection of those that, you know, are going to go with all the Young Guns PSA 10s that I'll be selling at the next show I set up at. But yeah, and I'm excited to see how well that works out for me because they're all raw cards. None of them are graded, but they're all big. And it's hard because they're such thick cards. They come dented. I
cherry pick though. I mean, you know, anything. And when I look at cards, I buy them. When you buy one card at a time, you got to be very careful with every card you buy, right? Because, you know, everyone's always trying to pass the trash. We know that, you know, you always have to look at every card. And if it's so spectacular, why wasn't it graded? Why is it raw? Even with patch cards. But, you know, some of these patch cards are so hard to grade that sometimes if you can find a really, really nice one, it is worth the $15, $20 to throw it into a slab and get it graded. It's not so much about even the profit, but if you are looking for a profit, there's even out of 1,000, some of these patches, people never graded any of them.
Yeah.
You know, and you can hit a PSA 10 on something, you know, you can actually make some money, and you could, some of these patch cards you're talking about, Ken, they're in the wild for $1 or $2. You know, you try to buy one, they're $10 each, $8 each. You in the wild, go up and find the right deal or the right person willing to make a deal. You can buy 30 of them for $100 and not have to worry about anything to get thrown out. You could actually buy quality names, and everyone's out there looking to get rid of this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
More than I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was funny. So last spring, a lot of the shows that were set up, I'd see people like spring, summer, would just walking around with boxes of cards that they were just, instead of going through the $1, $3, $5, $10 boxes, they were just buying the whole box. You know, just making a deal and buying the box.
You should see my house. That's what I've told next to me. I've been buying boxes.
And I have a lot of boxes set up, and you know, I figured I'd get the idea the next time I set up that I'm going to put the box out there, but I'm going to figure out a price for the box too, in case somebody just wants to buy the whole box, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have different boxes I put up at shows. I have dollar boxes, and I had like last show. I don't really do them like a dollar box, but it was like all autos and chat patches, but not stuff that of people I was familiar with. Someone did buy the whole box,
Yep.
bought the whole box,
Yeah.
and it wasn't anything crazy. But then I had other boxes which people tried to buy the whole box. I won't let them because I'll discount stuff for people, but um, when you buy my whole box, even at the price, you know what, Ken? Now it is still hard to replace some of this stuff at quality. You want to buy dollar patch cards, you're not getting $50 patch cards.
Yeah.
You want 3 colors numbered out of 50. You're not finding them in dollar boxes.
Mhm.
You still got to pay for those, and those are hard to find. So those are not things that people want to give away so quickly. And I think now you're seeing the cheaper stuff coming out, but the better stuff, even though we're seeing it come at cheaper prices. People are buying it. You may not see some of this stuff again after this next round, Ken. The good stuff that gets put out for sale, the people that are buying it, good stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to end up with real collectors again.
Yeah. Do you ever rip? Do you ever buy boxes and rip them open, or
not anymore? Anyone that knows me, that knows how much I ripped and got into breaks, would say that I probably should quit because I'm so far ahead with the luck I've had with stuff. And just
you're the guy that gets all the good stuff.
I mean, I never hit like anything that you see that they talk about now, but like I just like 2 years ago at National, it's funny. I had a big audience for this. David Adams had a counter. They were selling the National packs, and they must have had a hot box, and there's 2 cards in a pack. So there's a little commotion at the counter. Somebody opened up a pack and got like a Patrick Mahomes like 101 or something. Next guy next to him got like a Lionel Messi 101, like a gold vinyl, something crazy. What's going on here? So I stand next to it. Everyone's quiet. Let me get a couple packs. I get a couple 101s. Next thing you know, I'm like, let me get another one. Buy a couple 101s. I bought 10 packs. Gold Tom Brady's, gold LeBron James. I mean, it was before people started figuring out what was happening. I got out of there. But when stuff like that happens, you realize it's time to quit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to quit. I mean, like,
happen again.
I sold some of those cards. They PSA 10'd, and I sold them, some of them for over thousands of dollars off of $20 packs at the counter because of some hot box. And then they pull the box. Crazy. But you get lucky and you learn. Just no more.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know the market is volatile. What are you buying? What do you think has the most value right now? What's safe? What are you staying away from? What are your thoughts on
staying away from? Oh, that's a good one. That's an easy one for me. I am staying away. Again, don't beat me up if you see it in my case, but I am in hard staying away from like ultra modern stuff. Anything ultra modern. It's just not for me. And if I'm buying ultra modern, you're seeing me buy like the 10, the 25 gold, cool stuff, like just cool stuff. It's not going to be like prospecting for players. It's not it. I think hockey now, Connor Bedard is a household name right now. He's getting to be one. For the hockey card market is still cheap to me. I mean, I can't believe that like some of these prices, even Austin Matthews, the way he's playing, I would.
Yeah, and that's what I loaded up on. Matthews, Jack Hughes, Caulfield. I mean, I've loaded up on these guys, all kinds of different cards.
I wouldn't be selling so quick. Some of my better like Hughes right now. I mean, my mistake was I had a whole bunch. I bought them, sold them. I don't have any left. I probably the next one I acquire might tuck it away because I just can't see these prices staying. I mean, I hate the Devils, but I do believe in, and I said it last time, I do believe in Jack Hughes. I think he's going to be a problem for the Rangers for a long time. I think he's legit, and I think he's a superstar in the making. I think if Connor Bedard is real in Chicago, that's exactly what the NHL needs. I mean, people are still sleeping. And I don't care. I buy and sell.
I tell you what, I watched this guy. I watched his first game. I saw his first goal, and I watched him play. And yeah, he's just a great little hockey player. I mean, just great hands, quick. He's got a lot of speed. Like he like that burst coming out of the corner. Like
he's unbelievable.
He's
really good.
Yeah.
Vintage, Hall of Fame, game used relics, patches, and not just like any Hall of Fame. You know, like I'm trying to step up the quality of like, you know, of who I'm buying. You know, everyone would argue that the kids and the younger folks don't know who Roberto Clemente is and they don't know who Mickey Mantle is. You know what? If you put dollar signs around these folks' names, the younger people and the people that are not knowing this stuff in the hobby are going to learn very quickly. When you could buy a Barry Bonds or a Mickey Mantle card and grade it and do better than you can with buying a Justin Jefferson card right now,
Yeah.
they're going to learn. They just haven't learned yet.
Yeah.
You can go to card shows right now. Some of the dealers that do it for a long time, they're still tough to buy from. But man, the opportunity to buy raw vintage cards or older, even not to grade for that to grade, but like name patches, game used bats, even the stickers, like those old early 2000s products like Donruss and Upper Deck made products with bat relics and numbered, gorgeous stuff. It's out there for everybody to buy. No one wants to buy Carlton Fisk cards, Mike Schmidt cards. You're making a big mistake because this is the stuff that go look at the comps. You could probably go find 1,000 comps that'll fight against what I'm going to say. But I'm going to say that if you look at the comps of like a average Mike Schmidt sticker patch auto game used from a legitimate company, that card probably isn't varying too much on eBay. But you could probably buy them at a card show 50 cents on the dollar from people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just amazing. And that stuff is really
because
out.
nobody's buying it either, right? I mean,
but you can buy, and it's also too, now you're really finding out who in the hobby wants to put the work in, right? We're learning very quickly. And I think too, why we will see a lot of people leave the hobby, because to really make money, you got to be in it all the time now. You can't, you can't buy a card on Monday and go to a show on Saturday. You got to be in it now.
We even go to a show on Saturday. You see people come to the show to you at 10 a.m. and he's peddled that card to somebody else at 10:15
right.
to make a quick, 10 or 20 bucks.
Right. And it's not that I would buy stuff and put it away and not sell it so quickly. I don't have a problem doing that, but it's, and I also think too, there's opportunity in bulk. People got to look at, when you go to a card show, it's okay to pick up a couple cards that maybe you don't love so much. You'll make a better deal with a dealer. You'll get better pricing on everything, and you'll get room you can sell. You got to work. Pick up the extra couple cards you don't want to sell. Make $5 less on those cards, but you'll get the one you want for a better deal. But people just are thinking about what's right in front of them too much with this stuff, and they got to have a little bit more of a plan, maybe some education around just how to run a business before you run into a card show with $500 in your pocket, because it's not so easy anymore.
Yeah. One thing I've learned too, and I just see over and over and over again, and that I have to be better with, that I know, is even like people put this stuff online and they're like, oh, well, I'll do a deal in bulk, but I'm like everybody else. I want to hand pick the top 5 cards out of the thing and say, these are the 5 cards I want. And they're really hoping that they're going to take some of the other cards. Right. And somebody I was talking to said that one of my, listeners who communicated with me and said, look, if somebody says, if you want to buy all these, make a deal for them all. Even if you only want half of them, make a deal for all of them, because you're going to get a better deal on all the cards. If you try to just buy the same 4 or 5 that everybody else wants, when the guy really wants to sell all 10 cards at once because he wants to get rid of those other 5, just figure out, how to make a deal and make it work and just take them all at once.
But it's work for people. You take on 100 cards, you only wanted 12. Next thing you got to sell them. People don't want that. And again, and I didn't always want that either. I only learned that I wanted that more recently. It's something you have to, like, you can't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want to flip. You can flip cards, owning 3 or 4 cards at a time. I mean, certainly we know plenty of people that their inventory is what they have at the show and that's it.
Yeah.
But in any true fashion of a business, that's a really hard business to operate unless you have financial backing or it's not like your thing. If it's a full-time job, that's hard. It's really, really hard. But again, I go back to what's out there to buy. I mean, man, if people just educate themselves on what's out there, there's Prism Color in people's boxes, and there's Young Guns in people's boxes, and there's all kinds of stuff out there that people were grading 4 years ago. Anytime they pulled open a pack, it was right in PSA. Now those cards are in dollar boxes. They're still waiting to be graded. They're still waiting to be found for a flip. I mean, they're there. People don't want to.
I'm that guy who ripped all those boxes open. It was just like, took all those cards and just put them in the penny sleeves and put them in the $1 and $2 boxes, and try to make my money back on on the boxes that I bought. I mean,
It's hard.
it it is super hard, and it was, on some of the, like, I do the women's soccer, and some of the boxes are good. You can open them up, and you're getting your money's worth out of it. I just bought these Topps Chrome Sapphire, these World Cup boxes, and Topps is selling them for $75 or $79. I see them selling. I bought five. When they came out from Topps, and I see them now selling for like $115. But I finally got my five from Topps, and I opened up each one, and I'm just like, I'm looking at these cards, and I'm like, paid $75 for a box, and I probably got $25 in cards that came out of it, if I was lucky, out of every single box. And I thought to myself, "Oh my God!" We thought, and I talk about all the time, like how much I've learned my lesson, and I'm not doing this anymore. But the women's soccer stuff, especially from Parkside, like when I get these Parkside boxes, I mean, the hobby boxes are $80, and you're usually pulling, maybe $125 on a regular box, and you could go up from there just on the card you're pulling out of. But this top stuff and this Panini stuff, it's just garbage.
I don't open anything anymore. I can't anymore.
Yeah.
I just, my luck ran out too. Your luck runs out. It's too expensive. You realize when you buy a hobby box, whether for fun or for money, whatever you're doing it for, it just. I mean, how many times you really like getting kicked in the face? I mean, I don't like it. I mean, even
Thanks for
sometimes
using the face. It's a family show.
right. I thought about that. So, nobody likes that. You don't want to get kicked, and over again. It hurts. And
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, whoever's supporting themselves in this hobby, you'd almost be cheaper to be like a drug addict at this point than to be ripping boxes, because I'm sure an ounce of legal weed is a lot cheaper right now than a box. What's a hobby box cost for, like, what's a Topps Series 1 hobby box cost? I mean, an ounce of weed is probably $200 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the upper deck, I think it's like, I think it was not 129 or
All
149.
right, so for two boxes of that, or you can have yourself a month of fun. I mean, like, who wants this anymore? I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
Any box I ever get, like they gave me at the Pokemon pack, I open up the pack, I try to hand it to the kid. The kid's laughing. He goes, "I don't want this garbage." I mean, can't even give it away.
Yeah. And when they first announced that the Bedard card was going to be in this, remember the series 1, it was like series 2, his Young Guns is coming in the series 2. So they never announced that this short print, his draft day card, was going to be in. So then when it was announced it was in, I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll go buy a few boxes and try to get one," because of course the card was so expensive. But it got all I had to do was think about it a little more. I'm saying I'm not going to do it, and next thing you know, like, you're right, there's like 1,000 of them on eBay, people trying to sell them, and I'm like,
my favorite Easter egg that Upper Deck puts in the product, and you can look them up. You can buy it from all different players. They have them all the time. They're super short print, are called Fanimation. They used to put them out back in the day with basketball. Jordan had them.
Yep.
And I have the Hughes Fanimation. I still have that one with me. I have a McDavid, which I bought wrong. I actually pulled it and then I graded it. And I still have it. And they're gorgeous cards, like cartoon cards.
Mhm.
I'm interested to see if they put a Bedard Fanimation in one of these series, because that will be, it'll probably be a $2,500 card, but no one will know about.
Yeah.
Animation. They're insane polls. It's almost impossible to get them.
Yeah, and there's like what, one in every, like, so many thousands of cases or something.
It's impossible to get them.
Yeah.
And you can pull like Brent Burns and he's worth like $20. That's like the worst part of it too,
Yeah, you'd finally get one and it's like anybody wants, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I've hit, believe it or not, I've hit two. I've hit Hughes and I've hit McDavid. I have a Brent Burns. I bought that one though. And I have a somebody from the Red Wings. I forgot, but I sold it. I forgot that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the French Young Guns. I get a French clear-cut Young Guns, and I'm like so excited, and then I go look it up. And it's like,
there's too many now. It was fun when there was like a French Young Gun. It was a Young Gun, and then there was the foil.
Yeah,
that was always the cool ones. Like McDavid, they had a foil, and there was always the exclusive, and those are great too. But then
I thought the foils you could only get through Topps or whatever, or like Upper Deck. I mean, like online, like
Back then,
yeah, like that pack, the pack something.
I don't remember how you can get them back then, but I had the McDavid foil. But I don't know how you get it back, how you would get it.
Yeah,
But I don't think you could pack pull it. You're right. But like now, you could pack pull French, clear, the 100 to 10 of this one, the backwards jersey, the black and white. I mean, enough already. Like it's enough already. There's so many things enough already. And I'm not honestly, I'm a big hockey guy. I'm not buying one Connor Bedard Young Gun.
Yeah,
Not going to buy one. I'm going to buy one when he actually does something that makes the words the next Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Valid.
I would rather them just take all those cards that nobody cares about, just don't even bother making them, and put, give me a box, 1 pack, like 5 cards. Either I got it or I didn't get it.
Right.
Because I don't want to rip 15 packs as 6 cards or 8 cards a pack to find out I didn't get anything.
Young Guns, though, I will say, though, an Upper Deck box rip Series 1 and 2 is the only thing I would rip, because I do love a Young Gun. I said it on your show last time. I think the Young Gun is the best investment in the hobby for $1 or $2 and a top loader. You get anybody you want from any team that plays on the team in the NHL, and they're easy and cheap to get. And you open up a box of Young Guns, a Series 1 or Series 2, you're guaranteed to get 6, I think. I don't know the numbers now, but
you're
6 Young Guns.
6.
You're guaranteed, and usually.
I went and opened up. I went online and I ordered boxes from 2019. I ended up getting pulling a Jack Hughes, 2 different versions of the Jack Hughes.
Sure.
The Stutzel, Tim Stutzel cards. I pulled I pulled a bunch of cards that are now at PSA for grading right now.
Yeah.
That I picked up, and those boxes, they were only selling those boxes. Those hobby boxes were like $79 a box, right? And you're coming with getting 6 Young Guns out of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're charging now, but I imagine it's going to be 100 and change for box, I guess. I don't know, and you're going to get.
Wasn't that? I mean, I bought these cards in, I think, August, because I just sent them off. I bought, and they were $79 a box. They weren't expensive. They were $89 a box.
Yeah. Upper Deck holds their pricing up for a while, then they come down, and then, but even then, a Young Gun chase is still a great chase. I mean, you know what? I say never, but I would probably open up if Upper Deck was listening. I'm sure they don't send anything out, but if they wanted you and I to rip a box live, Ken, I'm sure you and I would have a good time opening up some boxes of packs for Young Upper Deck for free, and I would even give my Young Guns away because would be more fun. But that's the only thing I ever really open because I love hockey. But I can't even keep track. Got to look at every card now, see if it's in French. If somebody's wearing a hat now, because if they're wearing a suit, it's a variation. If they got the cup, it's a
Yeah, well, that was funny with the Parkside, the early Parkside women's soccer. There was a short print, but there's no way you knew it was a short print. It wasn't labeled or anything. And you just had to know what you were looking for on there. And now their cards are coming out. They say SP on the back, right? So now they want to let people know that they've actually got a short print, which is, and I think a lot of, what they're doing too now with these cards, with a lot of them. And again, like I said, they're like they say it's a short print, but they don't tell you how many cards are made, right?
Yes.
I mean, they're and I keep going back to the women's soccer, but these boxes, these sapphire boxes I opened up, the variations, which is usually the short print. The variation, there's more variation than the regular rookie card of a couple of these players because they made more variation cards than the actual rookie card. It's yeah.
I mean, I'm staying away from anything. I mean, honestly, I've been so far removed from the modern stuff that I don't even know who some of the rookies are right now in basketball. People are walking up to my table and they're going, "You got this so and so like Shaden Sharp or whatever." I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. You got this. I don't know who you're talking about. They're talking about draft picks of football teams, and I'm like, wait a second, what team do they play for? And people are looking at me like, are you crazy? I don't know who they're talking about. I really don't. I mean, to me, I thought Trey Turner was out of the MLB until I heard he hit a home run the other day. I'm like, well, I thought that dude got sent up the river somewhere, Trey Turner. Next thing I know, he's in the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't want to spread myself out too thin. I've talked about, oh, I want to get into basketball, I want to get into this, I want to get into that, but I don't want to spread myself too thin. I want to be able to know what I'm doing, what I'm talking about, and when I'm buying cards, when I'm looking, especially now when I'm looking for the cards, I want to know what I'm looking for. If you
Sure.
start spreading yourself too thin, you start getting confused, and
It is
no.
hard. It's for sure. I mean, for me, it's just I stay away from the modern, and that has eliminated a lot of my confusion because I don't have to keep track now. They started putting out things with all these logos and patterns and football optic, and as a Jets fan, you start seeing all these different. I learned is when I started seeing all these Garrett Wilson cards coming out in like optic with like different kinds of patterns, and this one's a short. I'm like, all right, that's it. That's it. I don't know what these things mean. If it doesn't say the 10 on it, I don't really care. I don't know
Yeah,
what it means.
yeah, because if it doesn't say the 10 on it, it's probably a million of them.
Yeah, and it's back to the old days when the dealer says it's a short print, so I guess it's a short print.
Yeah.
I think it's a short print because the dude's wearing a mask. I mean, I don't know, but he's got a green foil with a mask. Is that a super short print, or is it the red foil with the mask? But he's got his hat on with the.
Who knows?
Who knows, Ken? When's your next show?
I am doing in November. I'm going to Gillette Stadium.
Oh wow!
There, and I think it's the same weekend you're doing. You just sent me the dates for Babylon.
I'll be in Babylon that weekend, and actually, I'm doing my first ever. I'm gonna do Old Bridge, which I know is very very small, local show here for us in Central Jersey. Maybe 25, 30 tables, but you know what? I go once a month, and this is my mental health show. I go to the show to buy a couple dealers there. They have boxes. I dig. Everyone is there, super nice, and I still find the small shows are the absolute best shows to purchase at because everyone has to start somewhere. Not everyone can start at a show like Secaucus or White Plains or Babylon is bigger, Hofstra, Gillette Stadium. Sometimes these smaller shows is where you can make a couple bucks. But for people like us who are looking to buy an opportunity, the folks that are trying to make a couple bucks are maybe making 5 or 10 less. To them, that 5 or 10 less moves them onto another card, but that also moves us onto something too.
Yeah.
So I think the opportunity there is you go to a big show, big fish, bigger fish, small shows. Find a lot of people that are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get to those bigger shows. They're trying to get there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I found great and more people willing to talk, spend time.
Mm-hmm. One thing the downfall now of the bigger shows, they're multiple days too. That's what I don't like. The small shows, one day you're in, you're out. I get tired, especially when you have to travel, to go to a show and it's a Saturday, Sunday, and you're there Saturday and it's just banging all day long. And then Sunday it's, you're falling. It's like, all right, I guess I'm going to go shop now because nobody's at my table. Right. So
yeah, like that third day of White Plains that Sunday, I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. It was great. But I didn't do the show last 2 weeks ago. I didn't go to Hofstra.
I didn't either. I had to give up my table at Hofstra. I had, the funeral and stuff going on with my mom. They, people coming in and yeah. And I like Hofstra. I was really sorry to have to miss Hofstra.
Yeah, I couldn't go because of Parents' Weekend, but I know the next White Plains is what, December, right? Is that White Plains again, December? I think so.
Where do they do it? Where are they gonna?
I think it's in the convention center again. I think so. I just know it's in my calendar. That's all I know. I'm doing it. I actually thought that was like the most fun I had at a show in a long, long time, like ever. And I'm gonna be looking forward to that show.
I'll have to reach out to John, make sure we get put together over there.
Yeah. That's a must. Like that's a guaranteed show that I have to have on my calendar every year. And now it's funny too. I'm learning as I've been doing more shows. I say I only want to do so many. There's actually a lot more shows that I think are better than I thought to set up at. I mean, Cardboard
as long as you have good inventory. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If you've got the right card. Now, we talked when you were at, and you said, and I was surprised. You said, I only do a few shows a year, but you only set up at a few shows a year, but you're out there buying, buy. And then when you get to this show, you've got 9 cases and 7 boxes. Like that's going to be a good show for you, right? Because
we load up.
I mean, I think for me, I was doing so many shows that it was running out and trying just to buy inventory to put in my cases. And some of it was making sense and some of it wasn't. And I got to a point where I'm like, I'm just not going to do that anymore. You
That's when
know,
you
if
got to
I,
stop and take a step back and say, it's okay to not buy and sell for a day or a week or three.
yeah,
But also too, it also tells you like now it makes you look smart too, because right now you're cash heavy and the market is telling you that you could walk into a show right now, Ken, tomorrow with cash in your pocket and probably in large quantity pay the price that you want to pay on the stuff that you want to own,
mm,
not the other way around. And and I go back to like last time, it's relationships again too. I mean, you know a lot of people now, and you have cash to purchase. You're not going to walk up to someone's table and drop. I saw an obnoxious dealer do this in Philadelphia. Walk up and try to put money down on someone's table and say, "I'm going to buy it." It's not going to work. I'm going to sell to you because we do business together.
yeah.
That's how it works. It's not going to be because you dropped $10,000 on my table. I don't care about your money. Most
They were
guys,
doing that at East Coast National too. Same thing. The guy comes up and he's pulling out two
same guy.
big
You did it in Philadelphia too. The same guy.
yeah, two big things, and then he wants to buy
I want to give you my money.
six of the cheapest cards in the case. So I'll take these 6 cards for $200. Like, why did you just drop 40 grand in cash on my case if you were buying the cheapest cards in my case, right?
Right.
So, all right, kid. Look, we're on to an hour. We're gonna have to wrap it up. So your next show is
I will be in the actually Old Bridge in end of November, middle of November. I think it's the 19th. I'll tell you right now. And that same weekend is Babylon. I will be in Babylon. That's always a fun show for me. That will be November 19th, and I'll be in November 17th at Old Bridge. If all your listeners out there, the Central Jersey people, anyone that's in that striking range of Old Bridge, small show. I don't make promises, but there's a couple really good dealers there. There's a lot of younger folks there that are buying and selling. There's a bar, and they start selling food. It's only like $4 to get in for the first hour, and then it's $3 after.
and this
And
is what just is this a Friday night show?
Friday night show. They do once a month. I think they do like a watch show there on Sundays. I don't know. I go all the time. Extraordinary Cards sets up there. You'll see Santiago Cards set up there. They were not there this week because he was in Chantilly, but he always is there set up. And then you got a lot of newer dealers and like the guy I like to shop in his dollar boxes. He's always there with a whole corner, and there's a lot of people moving cards there. And last night was very, very busy there.
Yeah.
People should check it out. Really great small little show. Maybe I shouldn't tell anybody about it. Shh, don't go.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
go.
yeah. You're gonna overrun the show now.
Don't go. Or no, go next time because I'll be there selling cards. So come see me.
Brad, tell people where they could find you if they want to reach out to you.
Outlaws
Yeah, there you go.
_ sports cards on Instagram. You can always tell Ken you want to find me, and you can always find me the show. Reach out to me.
Yeah.
But go to Ken first if you're selling. We got to find Ken some good deals out there.
All right. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please definitely subscribe. And most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. Until next time, be good to yourselves and everyone around you. Thanks, Brad.